Hey, I'm Ron Hirschman, and welcome to Between the Lanes, episode number 40. 12 more, and we'll have 52, so it'll be a full year's worth. We missed one episode, but we're looking forward to the next 12. It's a solo show tonight, just me. Ralph's tied up. Lots of things to talk about, so we'll get right into it. Again, you're on Between the Lanes, episode number 40. And you can catch us on YouTube, and you can catch us on Facebook, Between the Lanes, like the page, get your name in on drawings, etc. down the road, and we're going to get right into the race results. So the winning report tonight, Mid-America Hard Body Slot Car Club was at Pro Slot Raceway this past weekend for the 80-minute Hobby Stock Enduro. It's part of a series of enduro races this summer that Brian Meharry's putting on. They used Hobby Stock cars, hand out 4,001 Pro Slot sealed motors, 10 minutes per lane, 8 lanes. The winning team, Team Voodoo, with 829 laps. That's your winning team. Second place was the A team from Indiana with 808 laps. And in third place was the Basement Boys, and I don't know where they come from. I have to apologize. So they had 793. So a fairly decent and close enduro race after 80 minutes with the hard body cars. The Ohio Challenge Cup Series season-ending enduro was held at Fast Tracks Raceway in Fremont, Ohio this past weekend. They ran the OCC LMP car class rules, 1036 gearing, and they ran handout Pro Slot 4002 FK motors. The winning team was the Mortals with 4,074 laps, and this was a 4-hour endurance race, I believe. And I don't know what was up with the paper plates, maybe some hiding of identity here, but the winning team was Rob Voska, Elmo, who's hidden, Craig Scharfenberg, and then Alex Staudinger, who is also hidden. The second place team was WFO, Eric Shirey, Willie Custer, Joe G., and they had 3,799 laps. I don't have a picture of the third place team, couldn't find one. But that was Team Haven, Ron Vincic, George Katakis, and Justin Porter, and they ran 3,791 laps. So they were only 8 laps behind the second place team, and the second place team was almost 300 laps behind the winning team. So Retro East, their Winter Series final championship race was at Speed Zone in Mount Holly, New Jersey this past weekend. Can-Am was won by Jerry Herbert Jr., with John Gorski second, and Ed Soll was third, and they only ran the Can-Am class at the championship race. In the final championship standings, the Drivers' Championship and the Can-Am Championship was won by Ed Soll. And in Can-Am, second was Brian Cochran, and Pat Skaggs was third. The F1 champion, Jerry Herbert Jr., Ed Soll in second, Jimmy Williams third. In the GTC Coupe class, Brian Cochran was the champion. Pat Skaggs was second, Ed Soll was third. And the stock car class, Ed Soll was the champion, with Adam Chaya in second and Brian Cochran in third. Florida Slot Car Series was down at P1 Raceway. And in the stock car class in Group 1, Marcus Ramos was your winner. Mike Brissett was second. Dale King was third. Stock car Group 2, Ralph Josie was the winner. Carl Peters second. Jim Yonkers in third. LMP Group 1 won by Jeff Bonanno. Mike Brissett was second. Marcus Ramos third. LMP Group 2, Jim Yonkers your winner. Ralph Josie second. Tom Hobbs in third. GTP Group 1, Marcus Ramos wins. Dale King second. Terry Tawney in third. In Group 2, Ralph Josie was the winner. Brandon Peters was second. And Jim Yonkers was third. The SCRRA was at Buena Park Raceway. They ran on a flat track. They ran Can-Am and F1. And in the F1 class, the winner was Brian Warmack, Mill Conroy second, Dennis Sampson third. And in Can-Am, Brian Warmack doubled up with another win. Bill Conroy doubled up with another runner-up. And Phil Nyland was in third. The 124 scale Wing Car World's Championship is taking place as we tape this show down in Brazil at Gugu's Raceway. As of the taping of the show, the only class they've run so far has been Group 12. 27 Light is today, but we don't have any results or anything on that yet. So in the Group 12 class, Osvaldo was your winner. Jay Young, I believe, was second, and Missick was third, followed by Esteban, Renan, Mike Iga from the U.S., Pablo, Marcelo, Jose, and Walter. And you can see the rest of the field there. They had 28 entries, a pretty good field. They reported a world record in qualifying with a time of 2:05-something. That's being disputed because we've run faster in the United States with various Group 12 cars. And, you know, looking at the picture of the car that TQ'd, it didn't really look a whole lot different than what we run here in Hillbilly box stock class. So, car had no weight, had an aluminum end bell on the motor, looked to have a Cahosa can. So maybe we'll have more on that in a future show as to why they came up with a world record report on that. And that's your winner chicken dinner report. And if Ralph was here, he'd be saying Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. So this weekend, we have the FNRS Midwest race at Real Speed in Fort Wayne, Indiana. The Gaithersburg 1100 is at Speed Zone, New Jersey. And the New England Retro Racing Association is racing this weekend as well. And we'll have some race results on that stuff next week. Following week, Memorial Day weekend, you got the USCA Summer Series at Thaser Raceway in South Bend and the Mid-American Crosstown Challenge Hardbody Series at Chicagoland. We have a couple giveaways tonight. Mid-America products. We've got two of the new Phoenix FK-type motors to give away, and we'll be doing that here in a little while. And we're going to update you on the list of drivers that are registered for the upcoming Flexipalooza race, June 1st and 2nd, Downriver Speedway, Lincoln Park, Michigan. And before we go, update. Last week we talked about the sad situation of Les Right-Way Products house catching fire and basically becoming a total loss. They started a GoFundMe page, and we put a link up on the Between the Lanes page on Facebook and various other places. You can find information on that if you wish to donate. They had a goal of $5,000. And as of when I checked this morning, they'd raised over $8,000. So congrats to anyone and thanks to anyone who donated. And if you're thinking about donating, you know, every little bit helps. So get in there and pitch some in if you can. So we're going to move right along and what the topic of the show is about. The topic of the show is about the list of drivers that are fully entered into the Flexipalooza race. So we'll go back to this here. And now two classes are being raced, LMP and GTP. The entries are limited to 64 drivers per class. And the list I'm getting ready to read to you is the 51 drivers who are entered, which means they've signed up and they've paid. There's another 5 or 6 that have signed up but have not paid. They are not in until they pay. So, and if other people get in and pay, they might bump those guys out. So if you're on the fence about going, you probably need to make a decision as soon as you can, because I'm pretty sure this is probably going to fill up by the cutoff date of June 1st. So drum roll, please. So here is your drivers who have entered. Randy Bussinger, Zach Holly, Frank Ulbrich, Dave Van Horn, Bud Denning, David DeCoster, Perry Walters, Ronald Vincic, Floyd Wagner, Eric Shiree, Bob Dempsey, Scott Schultz, John Druskis, otherwise a.k.a. Johnny Detroit, Richard T., Terry Watson, Ron Hirschman, Lonnie Batts, Dustin LaRoe, Jim Harder, Bob Foster, Winfrey Jacob, Jim Pace Jr., Roger Nisnick, Fred Zufelt, Spove, Dave Mounts, Patrick Lacey, Bob Appel, Mark Anderson, Jeremy Wyant, Roger Schmidt, John Miller, Dave Smirka, Nelson Swanberg, Gary Beal, Greg Streeter, Greg Van Peenan, Craig Hinsman, Bob Hill, Alan Gallagher, Mike Stamey, Mark Werzinger, Pete Rames, Anthony Brown, Ralph Thorne, Brandon Barcello, Ross Scharf, Willie Custer, Shane Parent, James Merriman, and Scott Morgan. So those are the 51 drivers entered. I'm pretty sure this list will be posted up on the Flexipalooza page on Facebook. And like I said, if you're on the fence about going, you better get signed up and paid so you are in the race. And with that list of drivers, that's going to be a real good show, real good race. I expect lots of close racing between the class of cars we're running, the bodies and the motors, and the track we're racing on. I think the races will be very close, very competitive, and it's just going to be a really tight field throughout the field. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to some more. There's some big names in there, and there's some kind of unknown names. Not mean that in a bad way, but you know, some of these guys, a lot of these guys I know, but there's several guys I don't know. I never met them, and that's going to be a cool part of the race is everybody getting together and everybody meeting a lot of these people that we read about in race reports, and you know, we see them. So it should be a great race, a super good time. It's going to be a pretty busy weekend. I'm going to recommend anyone coming, you might want to bring a comfy chair like a lawn chair or some kind of chair. I mean, there's chairs there to pit, and there's tables and stuff like that, but you may just want to bring your own comfy type chair because right now, I mean, with 51 guys, there's definitely going to be 7 to 8 races per class. If you figure it takes an hour to run a race, you know, by the time you start the race and you finish the race and you collect the cars and mark the spots on the track, an hour is a safe guess. It's going to be less time than an actual hour, but if you just guess it an hour, and say you go there and you get there at 8 in the morning on LMP day, because they're going to start racing LMPs at like 8 in the morning, I believe. Qualifying for LMP will be Friday night. So when they start racing, and say there's 6 races, and they start at 8 a.m. 8 a.m. We're not going to get done until like 4 p.m. So if you're in the A main, you're going to be sitting like 6-7 hours before your race. So, and again, if you run one of the early races and you're waiting to run GTP later in the day, it's going to be a long wait too. So think ahead and bring some comfy chairs. You might thank me for that suggestion. So. Talking to Ernie, everything looks good so far. You've probably seen that you can order T-shirts and our hoodies. The T-shirts are really sporty. I didn't have a picture here to show, but we'll do that next week on the show. And next week will be a week closer to that race. So lots of guys are thrashing and getting ready for the race. There was some concern, I guess, over the tires that are going to be used. It looks like alpha medium hardness type rubber is going to be used. It's an alpha tire. It's a medium wonder. But should be fine. Track's probably going to get pretty rubbered up. And, maybe at the end of the day, we'll wish we had a harder tire. But, time will tell and we'll all find out. So everybody needs to just start planning. Like I said, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day. Friday and Saturday, both will be long days. And then Sunday, of course, will be the I don't know what Ernie's calling it. I think he's got a name for it. But the top 8 overall drivers between the two classes, the top 8 points getters, will be in a 8-car IROC type race on the Downriver Oval, and that's going to pay $250 cash to win. So that'll be a fun race to see happen as well. So we'll get done late Saturday night, but that race Sunday won't start until 11 or 12, I think. So if you stay over, so and we'll have more information this week, and next week, and I think you'll see more information coming out as far as the race goes with a definite kind of time schedule and all that stuff. And practice sessions will be controlled on Thursday, or not Thursday, Friday, where basically each driver, or the drivers, I should say, you'll go up and you will line up on one end of the track, the black side, or you'll line up on the red side of the track. And let's just say it's the start. It's 8 a.m. and we're getting ready to start practice. The first 4 drivers will decide between themselves which will run orange, green, white, and red. And the same on the other end. Those 4 drivers will decide between themselves who will run black, purple, yellow, and blue. They will hook up. Power will come on for 2.5 minutes, and the power will go off, and you will disconnect your controllers, and you will have to go marshal the next 8 drivers out practicing. And then after you marshal them, then you can get back in line and go back on the track, or you can go work on your cars or whatever. So it's going to be the same for everybody. So now you kind of know what to expect if you're going to the race. And again, you just have to plan in your head your game plan, your strategy for practice and stuff. Another interesting tidbit is that the qualifying will be done on red lane, and it will be laps and sections, not fastest lap, but laps and sections. So the track will be marked. Each car, when it stops, it'll be marked. And sections and laps will be wrote down. And if there's 3 or 4 cars in the same section, then the markers on the track will determine who's ahead of who. Could be inches, could be feet, could be quarters of inches, how close they are in qualifying. So that'll be a challenge, qualifying on red lane. So, but that doesn't mean guys can go out there and park on red all day with the controlled practice. So it'll be up to the racers to work together, work amongst themselves, and see to it that everybody gets as equal a chance on lanes as they can in practice. And it should go smoothly. If not, I guess there might have to be some adjustments made, but I think we'll all be big boys and we can handle it and get it done. So other than that, that's pretty much all I got for this week's show. Had a couple of topics. Ralph's not here to discuss them with, so I'm going to leave them till next week. And if you're going racing this weekend, everybody have a good weekend. Be safe. And we'll see you next week for episode 41. Oh, before I forget, we had 2 drawings, didn't we? So, Mid-America Products is donating 2 of the new Phoenix FK motors. And you will contact Roger at Mid-America. He will be mailing the motors to you. So you need to get a hold of him. The first winner is Brian Russo. I haven't seen Brian online very much here lately, so I don't know if he's still even watching the show or paying attention to slot racing. So winner of the second Phoenix Motor. Brent Holt. He's a every week watcher. So Brent and Brian, you need to get a hold of Roger at Mid America. You can go to the website, or you can also get a hold of Roger on Facebook, to the Mid America Naperville page, or Roger's page himself. So everybody have a good week, and we will see you next week.